I really wish I wasn't awake at this hour knowing I only have a couple more before the alarm begins to sound its dreadful chirp. How is it that I can scarcely lift my head most days, and yet the early morning hours often find me so restless? It doesn't take long without sleep before our bodies and minds crave it. A couple days without water, and many more without adequate sustenance, will find our bodies crying out for it with little to draw us away from our focus on the absence of such necessities. And it brings me pause, albeit at 3:06 in the morning. How is it that we can so fervently crave such things and yet so often exist in such emaciated fashion in regards to spiritual needs? A complacent Christian may find oneself literally well-fed, well-hydrated, and well-rested in the flesh, while parched skin of the spirit may cling ever so tightly to the brittle and sunken rib cage of one so spiritually exhausted that the flow of fruit in the experience of abundant life has all but ceased to come forth from a spigot that once flowed with ease and purpose. We may have once been so well nourished in the spirit as to be compared to Canaan, yet now many of the household of faith bear a spiritual topography more akin to the cracked crust of the Sinai's floor in its most arid season. If this is ringing uncomfortably true to you, I hope you'll join me in praying for the well springs to resume their surge and for the meat of the word to retain its place steadfastly with our hearts, thereby renewing our greatest intimacy with the living God and seeing us walk in the abundance of life intended in his providence. What a dreadful thing it is for a true Christian to become so used to spiritual emaciation that one may begin to merely accept it or allow it to cheaply masquerade as the walk the Almighty has ordained for us. Come, let us reason with the Lord, for he beckons us to the fullness of his communion. He desires healthy children, well equipped in all things that pertain to life and godliness. It is my prayer in these pre-dawn hours that the rising sun will see a rekindling within the many whose fires have turned to embers. May these embers be stoked once again to blaze by the Lord, our consuming fire, as we seek to cooperate with his grace and submit without stipulation. The answer lays not in the world, but in submission and fellowship with the one who has overcome it.